So many wonderful scriptures in the Bible. Here's Paul writing to the church at Galatia, Galatians 2:20, and saying, I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. It's one of the great paradoxes of life that we have to die to self and live for Christ to find our fulfillment. If we don't die to self, if we don't put away our fleshly desires and our personal desires and live for Christ, we won't ever reach the fulfillment that God has for our lives. We were created for a purpose, and that purpose is connected with glorifying our Maker. These old rusty relics behind me here, they're not glorifying their Maker here, they're rusting away, they're perishing. And they'll sit on this mound perhaps for another 100 years and just finally grind back to nothing in rust and dust. But you've been made to glorify your Maker. And he will use you mightily to reach others in the world and to help others find reconciliation with God. But you won't do it on your own, and you won't do it in your own strength. You need to die to self and allow the Spirit of God to renew you. He says, I've been crucified with Christ, I've died with Christ. I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. And you know, Paul, who wrote those words, was the greatest apostle of all. You know, he wrote half the New Testament. He saw the church heading in the wrong direction, saying they've got to go back and circumcise everybody and make them Jewish and all that sort of. And he chased after them and said, no, that's false teaching. And he kept teaching us to live by faith in the Son of God. And we're saved by grace, not by works. We don't have to do works to be saved. We are saved by grace to do good works, yes. For we're created in Christ, he said in Ephesians. He said, we're created in Christ to do good works, which he prepared in advance for us to do. So if you see a need in front of you that you can meet, that's one of the good works that you were created for. So chase after it and say, all right, God's blessed me with this, I can go and do that, whether it be, you know, fix his teeth or whatever. I'm getting mine fixed tomorrow. Or whether it's in medicine or science or agriculture or teaching or education. Whatever God has gifted you with, that is for his purpose, to love your neighbour as yourself. Our first commandment is to love God with all of our heart, with all of our mind, with all of our strength, and then love our neighbour as ourselves and be Christ to the world. That's our meditation for the day from Galatians 2:20. I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. See you later.